Alright, in theory we should be live now. I don't know whether it actually works. Let's see whether... Oh, YouTube says something's happening. Okay. I think I'm going to decrease the bitrate because my internet can't handle it. And I'm dropping a lot of frames. 12% of frames dropped. Let's set the output to 2000 kilobits per second instead of 400. 4000, rather. That should hopefully decrease the amount of dropped frames. Yes, it did. That's good. Oh, hello, Smunker. We are going to be doing some pretty boring and nerdy coding shit today. So if that's not interesting, then I suggest you don't torture yourself by watching this, because yeah, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be implementing the sync server concept, which basically allows you in Aster, it will allow you to sync your username, your profile picture, and your server list, and it'll sync that between like all your different clients that you log into, which should have to be centralized, but it isn't because I am kind of not smart. I'm getting around the rules by having a centralized system, but allowing people to choose which server they use as their central server. So the main idea behind it is that when you log in, you'll input your username, password, and and the IP address of the server that you want to use as your sync server. And that server will store things like your username, your profile picture, not your password, of course, and server list. And so you can retrieve that from any of the other clients that you log into as long as you input the same sync server. Which means, in theory, yeah, it should work, and it should mean you can have like Discord level of continuity, but without having to have a single centralized client, or server rather, which is quite an advantage. I also, if I have time, I will get on to implementing custom emojis, because I have figured out a way to do it in a very nice way, and yeah, should be cool. Right, I'm going to just post the link into the Discord server. Let's copy video URL. Head over to the Discord server if you're not joining the Discord server. That's a cool place. Link should be in the description. At YouTube, streaming Asterdev link. There we go. Alright. So, firstly, I'm going to reply to Adam, who's messaged me. Right. Oh yes, look at this, look at this. Discord has given me the lovely purple circle. I don't know why, but that's satisfying. It sometimes doesn't like to do it, but today it has, which is good. And so, let's grab the terminal, make text size a bit bigger so that people on stream can read it. Let's see, is that legible at all? Oh wait, I've got it on. Okay, if I go to... I'm trying to stream in 1080p. It might not be the best decision, but like, because it's just mostly static text, like, it should be good. Yeah, that's legible. Surely that's good enough. Okay. So yeah, if anyone ever wants to read this, also the code is on GitHub. I will add that to the description. Let's see. Code https://github.com/jackdick/aster server, and if we copy this, Aster web, and if I press the right key combination, aster.py. There we go. Right. Let's have a look. So, what needs to be done? I've already started the sync code. So the idea is you send requests like sync set or sync get, and it sets information or gets information, and this is all within the logged in bit. These are commands that can be run only if the user is logged in. So they are all specific to each user. Don't forget the sponsor of today's video, Pillage Darkness Myths. Yes. Today's video is sponsored by my will to live. Yeah, that's right. The sponsor is rapidly diminishing. I mean, what? That was a joke. Just in case anyone is watching this and is concerned. My sense of humour is just bad. Right, so we've got a bunch of errors. Why do we have errors? No field, aha, yes, because I changed in shed.rs. Get sync data now returns an option. So the thing is, when you set sync data, it should basically it should return. If you don't already have sync data set, it should create new sync data to set to. That probably makes absolutely no sense. But it's basically the sync data exists in a database, but you might not have an entry in that database for a particular user. Therefore, if they request to set some data, you need to create that entry. So that's why this sync data might be none or it might be some. So we need to do match sync data and shove all of this code in a big... Oh no, we don't need to do that, right? We only need to do it there. Let's remove that. Let mut. Actually, no. Let's not do that. Let's get that. Let's just declare that instead. And then match get sync data. And then some data sync data. Ah, I have a brilliant idea. We can use the fact that in Rust, match statements, as well as many other statements, are also expressions. So I can return values. I can set sync data to either the existing sync data or a new sync data if it needs to be. But then we need to do different things here, because updating is different to inserting a new row. So actually we need to do something in here, because we've got get sync data, we've got update sync data, but we need insert sync data. So I'm just going to copy this. This is not the best code, but it sounds like a great idea to copy it and paste it. Paste that. So insert sync data. We've got self and we've got user. Instead of a user, it's going to be just U64 because it's just the UUID of the user. And then we're going to do basically the same as this, but we're also going to have data as sync data. Values data, self.con, error appending sync data, and we're going to insert into schema. I don't know how to say that. Sync data. We actually don't need a user, Because actually sync data, I'm a bit of an idiot. Sync data already contains the UUID. Let's up the bitrate to 2500. Surely that should be fine. There we go. Yeah, that should be fine. Now Discord won't complain at me so much. Okay. So, because sync data contains a UUID, instead of saying UUID here, we can do data.user UUID. And the same with... no, we do need to pass in the UUID there. And... Okay. So, insert sync data. Right, these will insert into Schema sync data table, values of data, execute with the self.con error, expect error handling, sync data. That should be fine. Right, now in here, this is where the data already exists. But if we've got none, we need to make some new data. And then we need to do let mut data equals sync data new. Right, we need to create a function new for sync data. So we need to do implement sync data pub fn new, and that returns self. And we just want to make it empty. So we want to say UUID. No, we need to take in a UUID. So, we don't need a return statement because Rust is cool, and return statements aren't cool enough for Rust. So we need to return self with user UUID as UUID, and we need to say what else we have. PFP. Let's have that just blank, and name as blank as well. So we need to change up. Is this null or is this blank? If I put this into a database with the constraint of not null, will it cause an error? Time to Google it. Is empty string null? It seems like it's not. Hate light mode. Let's make it dark. There we go. Okay, yeah, it seems like that's not going to cause a problem. If I just put empty strings, and I'll just check for empty strings later, because I'm too lazy to update the database. Okay, that should be good. So we've got a new sync data, and then we want to return it there. And here we want to do state lock dot insert sync data data. But we're inserting it and we're not borrowing. So maybe I should borrow there and add a borrow here. No, not update. With insert, I should add a borrow here, and I should remove the borrow here. Maybe I should do that for all of them, but I'm sure it's probably fine. Okay, we have 7 errors. We want to do data dot user UUID there. That should make 6 errors. Yes. Right, that's just an idiot mistake on my behalf. This should just be data. What's this error? Update sync data. Aha. So we need to remove peer.user. There. Okay. You name, aha, because this, we want to do match sync data, and then really we want to shove this whole block of code here in there, but we want to do like some mut sync data. Actually, we don't need it mutable. Don't need that mutable either. Okay, so if the sum, then it runs this. Actually, it might be easier, instead of using a match, just to use a if let mut sum sync data equals sync data, and that means I only have to indent it once rather than twice. Else, so basically, otherwise, what we want to do is we want to send this. Probably because I'm sending a code -1 here, I should probably send code 0 in the success. Let's just say that's -2 because why not? User has no sync data. So basically this is like error because the user doesn't have any data, error because the user requested data that isn't really valid, and success. Oh no, that's not success, that's error, and this is success, because I'm a bit of an idiot. Okay. So, this should work. No, it doesn't. Ah, I have the mut in the wrong place. That should be mut in here. Variable does not need to be mutable. Okay. 392. Also, yes, that doesn't need to be mutable either. That also doesn't need to be mutable because it's just getting the data. Ah, yes. Models.rs. This should be uname, not name. Ah, that shouldn't be none with brackets, shouldn't it? That should be just none. Okay, lots of warnings, but it compiled. So now I think it's time to test it. Okay, so if I cargo run, somewhere I have a command. Here we go. An SSL client, which will be connect localhost 22345. Here we go. So we're connected to the server, and we can run login username king jellyfish, and that's logged us in. Self UUID is that. Login without password will be removed soon. Yep, I will fix that. And okay, so we should be able to do sync set uname. This is uname. Sync get uname. It doesn't seem to do anything. Why? Why does it not do anything at all? What other commands can I do that would just like history to Yep, okay. History does work. Why doesn't this work? No errors on the client, or server rather. This does confuse me. I probably should, if it sends an invalid command, I probably should do like peer.lines.send. What should we do? Message invalid command code -1 probably, and then dot await. Let's just disconnect, rebuild the server. Okay, what's the problem? As ref, here we go. We need to do dot dump to send the JSON. Okay, server's running. If I do like, oh, of course as is fine because that's a message, but if I do that, it's because we're not logged in. I'm just going to leave that for now. Login username king jellyfish. Okay, so as the yeah, okay, there we go. Invalid command. So if I do sync set uname test, that works. Sync get uname. Oh, here we go. It works this time. I don't really know what I did last time, but it seems to work. Sync get uname. This is a uname, but it didn't set it as test. Now it has its test. Sync set uname. What the fuck? Sync get uname. It's still test. Why? Why is it still test even though I just set it to something different? Oh. Well, hello there, Benjamin. Aster Pog indeed. I don't really know what's going on because when I send like sync set, so I set my sync username to something and then get it again, it returns my previous username that I set last time, not the one that I set just now. And I have a feeling it's something to do with the database. So, what's the code of sync set? So, always update sync data with the new sync data. Then sync gets the new sync data. And if it exists, it returns shit. If it doesn't exist, it doesn't. Okay, so I don't want to test for is my internet dying? Okay, so who the fuck pinged me? Oh, never mind. It was actually a good reference. Apparently, Major Programming Moment has 69 views. Look at that. That's so nice. Okay, so I need to figure out why it's always giving me the last answer instead of the current answer. Oh god. Okay. Let's have a look at the database. Select start from sync data. The username is correct. The PFP is not. It's time for another terminal. I need this command. And I need to log in. Oh. Oh, the login username command is so good for debugging. I always had it so you logged in with the UUID before, but that was a pain. So this is better. Okay, so sync get uname. Okay, so sync get uname is currently set to test. Sync set uname something random. And now if we look at this, for some reason the username gets put in the username bit. The profile picture gets... What? Dot set schema sync data uname self.uname or data.uname. And it sets the PFP to data.pfp. Insert, it's just values of sync data, which is insertable. We want to get sync data, load sync data. What's in schema? Sync data. Uname PFP. In models, I think this has to be the other way around. Let's have a look. What's in migrations 2022/up.sql? It's uname then PFP. So this needs to be uname then PFP. I think because the order of this is wrong, it was getting swapped around each time and messing things up. So in theory, if I start that up again, I log back in. So you can see that. So we can get set sync, or sync set, is it? Uname. This should be a uname. Sync get uname. Hey, this should be a uname. Sync get PFP. Currently has what the fuck in it, but of course that is consistent with the database. And if I do sync set PFP, and I just grab this PFP and paste that in there, and it is correct. Hey. And that is my actual PFP. Sync set uname king jellyfish. Now this is sync, which means it's totally different from the user data on the server. So it's totally different from saying Nick /Nick is totally different from /sync set uname, because that is literally just sync set is literally just storage. You can put anything in there and it doesn't affect how the server works, because that's your like global default name, I guess, and then your nick is of course local server-wide nickname, not global. That probably makes no sense, but yeah. Decentralized things makes things harder. So now we got that, we need to do servers. And this shit's going to get hard. So sync server, we need to have a look at the migrations. UUID, IP port, PFP name, IDX. So in models, UUID, IP port, PFP name, IDX. So IDX is going to be like the index, like the which position the particular profile picture is in, just so you can order it correctly. There's a Spitfire that flies over your town every once in a while. It just flew. Wow, that's pretty awesome. I didn't really know they flew very many Spitfires anymore. That's really epic. I want to go there now. Do I have any Discord messages? No, not really. Okay. So we need to do some very similar code. We don't really want an update channel. We can just delete it and redo it. It's fine. Can primary keys SQLite, can primary key be not unique? Does a primary key have to be unique? I hope not, otherwise it's going to screw me over. My internet's really being quite unbased right now. Primary key should not be null. Simple field. Might have a video. That'd be cool. Table can only have one primary key. Okay. Does it have to be? Does primary key have to be unique? Why do I have things in my... cringe. Insert into from... Insert into queries, throw an exception. Does it have to be unique? Please. Please tell me. One and only one. Primary key must not contain null, that's fine. That's cool. That's very useful actually, row ID. Okay. Please just tell me if it has to be unique. Yeah, that's cringe. Okay. You can use varchar as well. Shit, primary keys must be unique. Shit. Okay. God, this stream has just turned into me Googling random programming problems because I don't understand SQL. Under no circumstances can a transaction be committed that results in a table containing two distinct rows with the same primary key. I don't really understand databases at all, honestly. So the problem is, user UUID. There might be multiple of them. There might be multiple of them with the same, multiple of them, multiple of them. All of these might be the same. Do I need a primary key? Do I? Okay. The freak is going on. So, the row ID column could be... Can I use the row ID column as a primary key? Okay, it's fast. That's cool. Do I need a primary key at all? Can a database table not have a primary key? Because there's nothing in my database that is unique. All of these could be duplicated. All of them together won't be duplicated, but at least one of them will be. I think my internet's having a not based moment. Or maybe Stack Exchange is dead? Because my ping's good. Right, so Can you create? Well, you can SQLite. Should you? No. What you do have is a user table with 300 separate entries for a user named Bob, many of which will have different values in the other columns. And if you try to connect rows in some table to user without a primary key foreign key relationship, every row and message is marked as sent by Bob. Ties back to every one of those 300 user entries. Oh, and there's 39 unique passwords for Bob. 157 for all of the rows. Alright. So can I just use the row ID as a primary key? Because I literally do not need to index it. Or, yeah. I'm sure it's fine. It can't be that hard, right? Let's just remove this primary key constraint, because it's not going to be a primary key. This will be a primary key. This is not, however. So the row ID would be the primary key. And let's just redo that mitigation. Fucking migration. Yeah. Okay, so diesel migration revert, and then run. Diesel only supports tables with primary keys. Okay. Okay. So I can have like row ID, integer, not null, primary key. Can I do that? When you create a table without specifying the without row ID option, yep, SQA adds an implicit column called row ID. So the 64-bit signed integer. The row ID column is a key that uniquely identifies rows in the table. Tables that have row ID columns are called row ID table. Cool. If a table has the primary key that consists of one column, and that column is defined as integer, then the primary key column becomes an alias for the row ID column. Brilliant! So, SQLite 3 row ID primary key. Let's have a look at more information to make sure I've got this right, because it seems wrong. In SQLite, the table rows normally have a 64-bit signed integer row ID, which is unique among all rows in the same table. If a table contains a column of type integer primary key, then that column becomes an alias for row ID. You can then access row ID using any of 4 different names. The original 3 names, row ID, and OID, or the given... These names are all alias for one another and work equally well in any context. Alright. So that should just work. Maybe? Ah, crap. Diesel. Feck. I just rolled back some data that I shouldn't have done. Run. Okay. It's fine. This is not a production database. Okay. So that's now the primary key. Right. In theory, I just need to put this in. No, I need to put this in messages. Except it needs to be a big int. Cargo run. And if I run this, and I log in, username. Oh. I should probably handle errors. Okay, let's do this. Do this. I can't be bothered. Probably should be bothered, but I need to change. What do I need to change? Nothing here. So login is my username, and I need to do sync get. I'm just going to test uname. Okay. Sync set uname. Testing uname. Sync get uname. Okay. Okay. This seems to work still. And now we need to do servers. So, for goodness sake, love i3. What shall I do? Okay. I need to run select star from sync servers. Okay, there's of course nothing in there, but that's fine. And okay. I need to have a look at the documentation. Because documentation is absolutely based. It's just the JSON documentation I need to look at. But I guess I'll build all the docs. Why not? Okay. Let's shove this on a different workspace. Because don't need that. Let's shove... Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I need to go to JSON. It's literally JSON pass. Okay, that's really simple. Because right now I've been using a sort of argv approach of like, if I was to do, yeah, it's a bit of a problem. Because I don't know about like spaces. How does... I'm going to do some tests. Okay, so if I cd/tmp micro test.rs, I've forgotten how to make Rust programs. So if I do fn main println hello world, does that work? Yes. Okay, so what I want to do is let str s equals s string. This has multiple spaces at once. Dot into. Okay, that should just print it out. Oh. Yep. But what we want to do is let s split equals s dot split on space. And then we want to print the debug of s split. Basically, I'm figuring out how Rust handles splitting thing. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's have a look at Rust documentation. Rust. How do I get Rust docs? Rust up doc. There we go. What I want is API documentation, split, standard string split. Okay, here we go. Okay, so if I do .collect, that should make it into a vector. That's useful. Where is my stuff? Okay. So if I do .collect and then compile, okay, what's the problem? Aha. We need to do vec str. Will probably be and str. Yeah. Okay. Aha, that's good. The fact that it puts these blank things in means that we can do ssplit.join with space. Oh, compile it. Aha. And this should be exactly the same as this. That's good. That basically means that I can handle things correctly, even with the stupid approach that I've done things in. So, basically what I want to do is in here, it's quite difficult to represent an entire server as like in the sort of command argument format that it is right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just send it over in JSON form, but as an argument. So it's going to be like the command will be, you know what, config Okay, tab. Not config micro. What do I want? I want my color scheme that makes comments look better. Let me grab it from my laptop actually. It's very similar to this, it just literally makes the comments look better. So that it'll be easier to see. Okay, let's do a little trolling and SSHFS 192.168.1. I don't know the IP of my laptop yet because it hasn't turned on. It is 1.20. Okay, now I can access my laptop's file system. Connection reset by peer. Sure. Do I need to put the explicit James at? Maybe. No? Bruh. The one time it doesn't work. No route to host. No, don't worry, I'm not doxing myself. This is my local IP. No one can do anything with that. 192.168.1.20. Yep, it's definitely here. What is going on? My network's been acting really weird lately. I should probably investigate it. Let me disconnect and reconnect to the Wi-Fi. Let's have a look at my IP address. It's still 20. Ah, there we go. Finally, now I can access my laptop's file system and finally install that damn color scheme so I can see the comments so I can explain how the command's going to work. Okay, copy.cospox/.config micro / color schemes .config micro -r. Okay. So in theory now I should be able to do set color scheme. Okay, that's not a valid color scheme. Interesting. Let's turn it off and on again. There we go. And now the comments are just a little bit nicer to read because otherwise they are far too grey. Okay, here we go. Command like /sync add server. Should probably unmount this before I forget about it and it breaks my entire file system like it does every other day. There you go. And then JSON with like IP. And we'll have UUID. Like that. So it'll have the first start part as a normal command and the last part will be JSON data. So we'll have let JSON data equals JSON pass argv 1 ... .join with a space. In theory, that should just work. because it's saying that the JSON, the actual JSON data, even though it's going to be split by this space, it should be joined back up eventually. And then we can say, actually let's tab src shared tab src models, because what we really want is to implement sync server, and we're going to do pub fn as JSON, and we're going to do from JSON as well. Just to convert this between JSON. It's going to be very similar to... It doesn't actually exist. Never mind, it's not going to be similar to anything. And then maybe we'll get onto the web client, because the web client is kind of important. So, we can do... Yeah, login username is not a good idea in general, but like it's useful for debug, I guess. Okay, return. Oh, we can just do, we don't even need return. We can remove return and do that because that's more, it's more rusty. Thinking of a word like Pythonic, but for Rust. It's definitely more rusty. Or maybe ironic, like, you know, iron. That's a problem. Okay, so I need yet another thing. I need server UUID. This user UUID is the current server's UUID, and server UUID is the server's UUID. No, the user's UUID on the other server. Oh god, this is getting confusing. Okay, so I need that, and then I need to rerun the migration, of course. Okay, redo that, and in theory that should have updated it. So that we've got another thing. Models.rs needs to be updated with pub server UID I64. And we need tab src schema. Fucking, I can't pronounce that word. Anyway, and we need to get row ID. And I need to put it in messages because I don't know. Oh, I'm going mad. Okay, we don't need this user UUID. We need to do just UUID. User UUID is only used on this server to identify who's doing what. It's not actually part of the data we need to store. It's just for identification purposes. There we go. UUID self.server UUID. IP self.IP. Port self.port. PFP self.PFP. And then we don't need index because index is also only used internally to order all the servers correctly. Right. I'm thinking of how we'd reorder servers, but I'm gonna burn that bridge when I cross it or something. Cross that bridge when I burn it. Come to that bridge when I'm gonna come to that bridge when I cross it. That's the word. Okay, and then we're gonna want pub fn from JSON value JSON value returns self. We're going to return sync server. I'm going to grab this and use this as a template. The problem is it can't be quite from JSON because we also need extra data. We need user UUID I64. We need index I32. Value name as str unwrap .to string. That's quite. Let's just copy this. In fact, let's copy this whole thing and do that and do that. It's probably not good. I probably shouldn't unwrap it, but I'm gonna just assume it's good. And I'll fix it later. No, oh god, I really need to fix this because it's very insecure and it will crash at the slightest problem. IP PFP name, that's correct. And we're going to do port. We don't need toString, but we do want as I32 probably. And then this will be just as I64, and it'll be just UUID, and this will be user UUID. And now all we do is delete this, and I think that should work. Maybe, possibly. So that's the code in there, and the code in here will be so to add. Okay, the problem is with the index. We need to redo all the indexes. When a server's removed, we need to redo all the indexes. How? Okay. Maybe we don't allow people to remove servers. No, that's not a good thing. I just need to figure it out. So we want to do let server equals sync server from JSON data. Also, we need to go up to the top and include. Oh, it's already included. And we need to say state lock.insert sync server. Surely there will be insert sync data is here. And let's just copy and paste because I am lazy. Insert sync server data sync server values data. That should be good, but we don't just create the server using this. We also need peer.uuid 0. Yeah, 0. Yep. I'm going to pass in 0 for that argument. And let's see if it compiles. No. I have 2 commas somewhere. What file? What line? models.rs86. This line. There we go. Oh. 2 commas. Fixed. Cannot find sync server. That's because it's sync servers. Expected answer. Found standard string. Need to borrow it. Of course. Borrow that. Aha, we need to unwrap. That's not a good idea. But I'm going to do it anyway. Need to borrow here. peer.uuid doesn't exist because it's peer.user. Loads of errors. I mean, not actually too many, only 3. Okay, it's to do with copying and cloning and so I should really do .clone pfp.clone name.clone. There we go, it compiles. Okay. Time to check Discord, see if anyone's been spam pinging me about something. This I don't really need. Okay, it runs. Oh yeah, we don't actually have a get server function. Let's just get. Let's just not allow people to remove servers for now. I will add it, but like, let's just do get servers. Get all of them. Let's grab a bit of a diesel query. Let's grab that. Why didn't that copy? This is going to be similar to what we need. Let servers equals. And then let's do some fancy formatting because that would be horrible. We want not messages, we want sync servers. We want .order. We don't actually want .limit because we want all of them. Okay, what do we want? Filter, sync servers, and we want why do I reverse the history when I could just put this as ask instead of desk? Interesting. Sync servers, I want user UUID dot equals peer dot user, and I want to sort it by IDX. Let's have a look at the diesel documentations. What do we want? query builder. Maybe? Aha, yes, it's just ask. Yeah, so I could literally move the reverse, but it doesn't really matter. Sort ascending by index, but the index will be 0. I will figure that out later. I'm a bit lazy right now. Load it, and there we go. That should work. I can probably put this on the same line. It's probably fine. And so that's the data. Now we've got to send it back to the client. Peer.lines.send. Okay, what we need to do... Rust. Does Rust have an equivalent of list comprehension? Iterators. Huh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so iterators we have... Probably just want... How do I iterate over a vec? Vector's not an iterator. Okay, what I really want to do is servers dot iter dot map. I don't know how the syntax of this works. Okay, it's literally just x dot to as JSON, I think. Okay, and I'll probably just shove that in line with here. JSON object request sync get servers data code 0. Does this work? Chance of any of this working is like so astronomically low. Does it even compile? No. Not even close. What the fuck? I probably want to do dot collect. I want to do like vec. Probably want Rust JSON. JSON value. Array is just a vec of JSON values. So Hmm. What do we do? Why is this causing an error? Seems to indicate a disparity between models and schema. Okay, so in here, sync servers. I need row ID in models. Okay, does that fix some of the compile errors? No, it fixes none of them. Okay, it just doesn't work. Why? Firstly, I need to put .dump here. That should probably fix like 2 of the compile errors. Yes, it did. In models, I need to put row ID. Just put it as 0 because it really does not matter at all. I do not use it. That should fix another compile error. Yes. Now it's only this one horrible, weird one. And yeah. Why? What does this even mean? Queryable, insertable, row ID is 932. Fuck it. Yeah, that's row ID. User UUID, server UUID, IP port PFP name IDX row ID. User UUID, server UUID, IP port PFP name IDX. Interesting. That should be the other way around. No, PFP name IDX row ID. PFP name IDX row ID. Let's just make sure they're correct. Integer, integer, integer. Those two should be big ints, so I64. The rest should be I32 or string as IP name and PFP. I don't get the problem. Let's just try it again. Nope, that didn't make it go away. I really don't understand any of this. Where is the error even occurring? It's occurring in main.rs 395. So it's this line here. Nothing looks wrong about this to me. It looks very similar to the get sync data thing. Feels like I got something wrong in here or in here. Yep, this makes absolutely no sense. Maybe I should work on something else. Oh, this does not make any sense at all. From SQL, these SQL are notable text is not implemented for const stir pointer. Huh? Where is there a const stir pointer involved? There isn't. There's only strings. And I32s and I64s. This is a big re moment. That's a sync server, that's sync server, that's referencing sync servers, which is referencing this, which is correct, which is referencing this. And this seems to compile. Insert sync server seems to work. But filter limit load. Yeah, none of this makes sense. State lock con. Look, it works for history. It loads from cooked message. And a cooked message is not included in here. Because I'm a bit of a moron. Yeah, I don't understand what's going on. Okay, instead of doing this, which is hard, I'm going to do something else that's probably harder. Let's just comment out all of this so that it will compile. And let's work on the web client, like I said I would. Okay, this should compile now. Yep. Let's close out of that, let's close out of that. Let's just run the server and forget about it. And let's go over here. Let's git pull origin main. Okay. There we go. So this is the web client in theory. I don't want to do ... I'm going to do AsterPy src AsterPy. So the majority of the majority of the code in here is I need to do ... and I need to do Aster . Yeah, that should do. The majority of the code in the web client is actually handled by a library called Aster.py, which is here. And the majority of the code is in this. And this is basically implementing the Aster protocol in Python in a similar method to discord.py. So if you have a look in example.py, this is like a bot. But of course, you have different things to pass into client. Client can only be a client for one server at a time rather than Discord, which can be multiple. But apart from that, it's quite similar. And then it's very similar. You have client.event for events as a decorator. Love decorators. And then you do just on message, and you could do message.channel.send exactly like you could in discord.py, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And so that's what's used as the backend for Aster Web. And now Aster Web, basically uses that, AsterPy.client, and it uses that inside a user object, which then it uses Flask Socket.io and Flask to do all of the web server stuff. I'm really not familiar with web dev, so this is probably quite janky. So yeah, forgive me for that. Let's just head over to Discord and check no one's spam pinging me to death. Okay, seems good. So, yeah. Let's delete this because it was cringe. This should just work right now. Okay, if we go to web python 3 main.py, should run. Okay, so if I go to localhost, how might be the 17th Aster account? You're going to be less than that, bro. You're going to be like the second or something. Aster is like ridiculously not popular because it's kind of bad and all stupid, and it's never going to be anywhere near stable enough for anyone to use. But anyway, I enjoy working on it, so that's the main thing. I mean, actually, you're probably not. You're probably going to be like the 30th Aster account because I've created at least 20 as just test accounts. Also, you have different accounts per server, so it's impossible to tell how many accounts there are overall. Anyway, localhost 5000/Aster should bring me... Okay, here's what I've been working on. Login system. Right now, yeah, it's a bit... It doesn't work. None of it works. So, let's disable that to show you what's going on. Let's go to templates aster.html. And I want to... I don't know how to do comments in HTML. Is it like that? I don't want to do that. I want to display it. Okay. This should now allow me to... maybe not. Why aren't channels appearing? Interesting. Let's have a look at Style Editor. Huh. Why is everything invisible? Why is it all invisible? Yeah, channels. There just isn't anything. Edit as HTML. What if I put like... Okay, it does exist. It just doesn't have anything in it when it really should do. And all the styles are wrong. Why does this always happen? Why am I bad at programming? Okay. Oh, there's some errors. Ah. Bad file descriptor. Interesting. Disconnect handler error. Removal index is 0. Interesting. Let's restart the server. So I go from one thing that I can't do to another thing that I can't do. Okay. What? Oh, none of this makes any sense. Shed.rs83. Oh, I'm logging in with the wrong username. Or the wrong UUID. Of course I am. Okay. Okay, so I need to, like... I need to handle that server side, but I also need to send, like, a proper error message when things go wrong instead of just blindly failing. Okay. Rant over. SQLite 3. Aster.db. Select star from users. Okay, who's logged in? So we have... I want to find King Jellyfish. Where name... Okay, here we go. We've got lots of people whose name is King Jellyfish. Okay, that's a problem. Let's copy that. And just shove that in here. And let's say King Jellyfish. Okay. This might just work. Finally. Hey, here we go. So we got general, which crashes the game, which crashes some shit. We've got bugs. Oh, right, of course. Yeah, okay, so this is the... I don't know why all the styles are wrong. Like, there should be a border around this. Let's have a look. Let's just shove that in. Where is it? Message box. Border should be inherit. What if I put this up here? Does that make a difference? No. What if I put border and border radius like that? There we go. It's duplicated code, but I don't care. That looks much better. Now, in theory, if I run... Oh, Aster... That crashes. That also crashes. Interesting. So Aster doesn't work, the desktop client, because it's difficult to... Oh, why am I like this? Okay. What are we doing? Channel changing in it. Okay, so in here, change channel, request change channel, channel. Okay, so in main.py, when what the fuck is going on? Okay. Aha. On web message. elif message rec equals change channel. That was right? Yeah. It says change channel. Okay. Self.servers okay, copy that, paste that. Dot. What do I want to do? I want to do dot join, I guess. Message channel. So if I go over to, oh, let's restart this. If I go over to bugs, does it work? Ah, yes. Okay, let's do serve equals, okay, get the server, join, but I don't want to join just the text, I want to join serve.get channel by name, and then shove that in. But we also want to do I want to edit aster.py because there's a bug in aster.py. init.py. What do we need to do? We need to do get channel by name if name.strip. Okay, because that's a bit of a bug. Okay. And then what we want to do is say history equals server.get history server.current channel. Hope join changes current channel. Okay, yes, it does. What am I doing now? Server.current channel. Then we'll want to do this basically and send the history to the web. Okay, so I want to restart that. I want to go to bugs, and it didn't do anything. Why? Server is not defined. Did you define? Did you? Serve. Yes, I did. Okay, that didn't work either. Where else have I used server? Ah, there we go. Oh my goodness. Okay, refresh page. Bugs. There we go. I mean, I don't like how it like adds them all like one by one. I kind of want to like send them individually, like all as one big block. You know what? I'm going to do that. But at least I can switch channels now. Okay, so what I want to do is, that's not the right place. I'm looking over here. Send message to server. Send message to web. Basically, this is going to do cool shit and send it all in one packet instead of sending it in multiple packets. So what I want to do is I want to abstract this . Okay, actually, I want to do this differently. Instead of having a separate thing to send history, I want to just send that always. Always send a list. So always send a list, but sometimes only just send one item. Line 83. Interesting. Oh yeah, that's fine. Because I messed it up. Let's close the server because I'm changing the protocol and it's causing problems. So instead of our message just doing one thing for data, let's do for let total HTML equals like string for const val of data messages. Then I want to run this whole thing. Want to do that, want to do that, want to do that. And instead of data, do val. In theory that should work, and then total HTML plus equals HTML. That should work. Do that, and instead of sending history like this, send messages. Messages. Okay, and in here, instead of doing this, it should be I'm being a bit of a moron, to be honest. I don't really have the energy to explain quite what I'm doing, but suffice to say that it's not very smart. Send messages to web. Let's send that as history. Okay, this should work. Doubt it, but like... Undefined. Oh, there we go. Ah! Now it sends it all at once. It looks much nicer. Okay. I think I'm gonna stop there because I've been talking about code for far too long and my brain is fried. Alright, I'm glad it was good background noise. I'm also gonna go, so that's good timing. Yeah. So for all the 0 people other than Smunker that actually watched this, then I guess you have now been more bored. But at least progress has been made, I guess. Should I like do a video on Aster? Maybe I should. Yeah, anyway. In traditional fashion. Oh. Ayo! Is it Fred in the chat? Do you not exist? Oh, that's a shame actually. Alright, yes. In traditional fashion. Bye!